Dana Abercrombie, The Coalition. You're amazing.
Thank
I
you.
Hello. Loved you in this. You were so incredibly badass, and I'm like, yes,
Thank
get him.
you.
Now,
thank you so much.
No problem at all. You play Braddock, and it was so incredible watching you on film. You have such a mysterious way about you, and then you're in there kicking butt as well. So my thing is, with a character that's so mysterious, we do know that you have relations with Sully. And there's other characters that we're not going to spoil that you have relationships with. But the character itself is kind of mysterious. Do you create that background?
Yes. Definitely like sat with Ruben, our director, and had several conversations of trying to create a backstory for her, because she's, the only character that's not in the game series and that you don't really have a reference for. And so trying to inform her with as many things as we could and make her as well-rounded as possible, I guess, also without giving too much of her away.
Would you say that as an actress, you kind of prefer it that way, that you are able to sit there and create the character as opposed to it's an adaptation?
That's hard, because I feel like as an actor, it's fun to do both. Like, it's always a fun challenge either way, of like either creating completely from imagination, definitely you have so much freedom, but also like the challenge of having to emulate something that's already there, and like see how close you can get, is something that I also would love to try one day. That's a hard question. I don't think I could choose.
No, the fighting skills, incredible. What was that like for the training? And also, you get like, where did that backstory come from? Because it's like, oh, we search for treasures, but then you're also running around killing people.
Well, I have like experience in martial arts. I'm a black belt. So as part of the fighting portion, it wasn't a lot or a far stretch for me to have to like train and get ready for. More so, my training just came in with like physical stamina and preparedness. Like, I got super buff. It's the buffest I've ever been. Was working on Uncharted. Sorry, what was the second half of your question? I can't remember.
I was saying whether the whole training, was you able to give the character such a backstory, because it's like you're into kind of like the treasure hunting as well, the arms dealership, there's other deals, but then you're also you're killing people. You're like,
well, so a lot of what Ruben and I talked about was like that, that Braddock probably has a military background, and so learned a lot of that training there. We also talked about a version of like, if, say, she had made, like, she grew up with wealthy parents or grew up in a wealthy environment in which, like, she was one of those kids that could go and get all kinds of martial arts training or things of that nature, and that she had it down packed and sort of was introduced into this treasure world through the antique world. And that's where she gets her class from, and all of that. So definitely created a few things to try to inform her. Yeah.
Okay. Now, with Uncharted, there are characters that we know we can't always trust. Sully in particular, we've always known we don't know what side he's coming from. And it seems that we don't know if you can be trusted as well. I was just kind of wondering, who would you say would be the most trustworthy, and would that be you?
Who would be the most, as far as the characters?
As far as the characters, including yourself, what you're doing, is it all reactionary to what people have done to you?
I don't think so. I don't think that it's purely reactionary, because like, I think that regardless, Braddock is in it for herself. At the end of the day, and she's going to win at any cost. So I actually think who would be the most trustworthy and loyal would actually be Nate. And this kid with so much heart and hasn't been sort of tainted or jaded by this field yet. Definitely could have been through life, and that's sort of a testament to his character, the fact that he had such a hard childhood, but is still loyal and is still willing to, like, other than being a thief, is not the one that ever tries to double cross,
right,
or challenge trust.
Right.
Yeah.
Is Braddock in it for the money or the power?
I think the power, which then also gets you the money.
Mhm.
But I feel like for her, it's definitely more of a power struggle or power driven thing than it is even about the money. They live good lives already. Like you don't even need that much money.
Very true. Now, this
Mhm.
location wise, it was all over in like the beautiful places all over the place. From filming standpoint, can you say which locations you kind of filmed at and which one you love the most?
We mostly filmed between Berlin, Germany, and Barcelona, Spain. Um, and I really loved Berlin, just simply because like none of the art. I mean, I guess we had a few exteriors in Berlin, but made them look like New York. But I just loved being in Berlin in general. It just has become one of my favorite cities to like just explore and go out. I love the vibe and energy there. Um, but I definitely really love like shooting at the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. Like, uh, what? Like, it's one of my favorite cathedrals in the world. And so, like, it was just, I just hope people are just really enjoy the locations as much as we did and really get brought into the world because of them. Yeah.
It was beautiful. All the locations is beautiful as well. One of the things that I was wondering is the story itself. I love what they did, especially with your characters and there's multiple things going on. What was it like to work with Antonio Banderas?
A dream. Like totally a dream come true. He's the sweetest man. Oh my God. Like he has this incredibly infectious joy for life that he'll make you want to be around him all the time because you could never be upset or mad in that man's presence. He's always got a smile. He's always got a little dance move. And yeah, it was a blast working with Antonio. I learned a lot from him. I think to take through life as well.
As an actress, what was the greatest lesson that you've learned during this filming process?
To trust in myself
Mhm.
was definitely the biggest lesson that I learned in all aspects of what it means to be an actor. Um, in the scene, like with the choices that you make, as well as down to like um, when you want to speak up about things or ask for something, like um, trusting in the fact that you know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think that definitely was the biggest lesson that I learned and a very valuable one that I know I'm going to need through the rest of my career. So yeah.
Lastly, if you can describe Uncharted in 3 words, what would you say?
Um. Uh. Epic. Um. Badass. And twisty.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for speaking with me.
No, thank you, Dana. It's been a pleasure.
You've been a pleasure too.